Thokozani gogo nomkhulu salukwa sendoda lesogogo bathini bathi mawuvula kuvaliwe emzini amadoda uAunty Usha your number 1 locksmith umalume ugift. Guys, things are tough. Guys, things are tough. No, listen guys, let's talk about economy. Let's talk money. Guys, things are tough. And trust you me, things are so tough, not for you and I only, for all of us. Hey, kunzima le mnyango. You know, if you are facing, if we are facing economic crisis in this country, it might not be spoken about in the media and everything, because they will say no, it will scare the investors. They'll come up with stories. It will dent the leading political party and whatever. It doesn't matter the reason being. However, let's make use of this opportunity, whereby this is our platform to say, as a country, we are facing crisis when it comes to economy. Have you ever find yourself asking yourself, Uguti, how did we arrive here? I went to Checkers to buy some vegetables and fruits. I was complaining, and mind you, I took the smallest trolley with 2 baskets. I don't buy too much because of they get spoiled quicker. So I normally buy for a week if I buy. When I was at the queue just behind this other Magogo who was paying and paying and paying, with my heart, I'm complaining to say, I'm definitely sure what I'm having is going to exceed at least 500 rands. It was not only fruit and vegetables, it was some small things like, I remember, I think it was salad dressing, it was vegetable juices. So as this woman, the cashier scanning stuff. I'm looking at how much now this lady, she has to pay. It was more than 2,000 rand. It's not much. That's not a grocery that the lady she can use for the whole month, even if she stays alone. I saw she was with her daughter, but even if she stays alone, or just her and the daughter, it wasn't gonna be. It's not going to last them for the whole month. I mean, I don't have a problem with starting a conversation. I'm not scared of starting a conversation. I started a conversation. Mama njani? Nithe mama ngoba wena usukhulile. You know, you old. You are age of my mother. Back in the days, not too long, maybe let's say just after 94. How much would you get for the grocery of this amount? How much grocery would you get? And she said a grocery for 2 months. It's a daughter, it's a son, it's a husband, it's herself. 2 months for 2,000 plus amount. So now we discuss and everything. Then this thing just kept on, coming in my mind and everything. I went back in things that I was observing and everything. Have you ever drove in these roads? N1, N2, N3, N4. I'm just mentioning the busy roads. Yes, guys, we do have your N12 or your R24, whatever. But let's focus on this 4. R1, R2, R3, R4. Please, for this video, let's focus on these roads. you may be staying in a Northern Cape, and you want us to talk about N12, or you want to whatever. But let's stick to these 4 major roads. They are not the majors. They are not the only ones that are busiest. But let's talk about these 4. Have you ever noticed how many of empty billboards? Yanyiwa. Kunzima. 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 Ahambi yolala. Khohlo. If you are driving on those roads on a daily basis, or you know them, you normally pass them, and even if you don't stay much, like especially on N1, we normally go to N1 and come back. Even in Northern KwaZulu-Natal or Durban, you'll normally get into N2 and come back, get into N3 and come back, not travel the whole N3, maybe from Durban up to Johannesburg. However, have you noticed, or rather pay attention to the number of empty billboards? Pay attention. Count them. If you are on N3, traveling from N3, from Durban up to Johannesburg, just make yourself a favor, especially if you travel during the day. Count them. Both sides of the highway or the freeway, whatever it's called. Count them. It's shocking. It's shocking. Johannesburg has been regarded as a hub of economy. But even when you get to Joburg, count them. Go to the townships. Count the billboards that on that day you'll find them empty. Count the billboards that they have advertisement that says your brand can look good here. Your clients will look at you as you are looking at this board. Count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever. Just count them. Count them. If you travel with N4, whether you're from Mozambique and everything, you travel, you go past Nelspruit, you travel up to Johannesburg. Count how many billboards are empty. Guys, we have a mullah crisis in this country. Guess what? The way I was so observing consistently these roads, I even did the same during the elections. Not even political parties that were hungry to win whatever elections, whether national or locally, that took the advantage of all the empty billboards. No, they couldn't. And when I observe on your N2 and N3, I think one of the political parties that on the past elections that they did exceptionally well, it's IFP. It's IFP that they really, it's IFP that had more boards on N2 and N3 and most of the townships, especially in KwaZulu-Natal and Gauteng. However, we are not there. I'm not promoting any political parties. But I'm saying not even a hungry political party that wants to do what it takes to win the elections that took an advantage of those empty billboards. It didn't happen. There were still plenty of empty billboards. People who are in a advertising space will tell you, Uguti Koko, you know, sometimes you wish somebody can call you and you give them a quotation and they come back to you and they negotiate, even they can say 75% discount. I would have given them, but none. There's a board in, I think when you just pass Jabulani Mall, going towards Emden, Zola, going towards the intersection of Jabulani. There's a robot at Jabulani Mall. I think it's Koma Road, if I'm not mistaken. And there's this road that goes down, passing Mulezane on the right, and then is Zola on the passing Mulezane on the left, and is Zola on the right. There's a big billboard there. That billboard, it's in the best place you can ever think of. Remember, Jabulani is the highest point in Soweto. The highest point of Soweto is Jabulani. If you are in Jabulani, you are in the highest point. I'm not sure about whether it's in the center or what, but it's in the highest. Not even people from the Jabulani Mall businesses can take that whether took the advantage of that billboard. Koko, how much is that billboard? It's written 20,000 rand a month. 20. Mamela, 20,000 rand a month. There were billboards that were ranging about 50,000 rand a month around 2001, 2002, and 2005. 50,000 or more. But to find a billboard in such a beautiful spot, lalela, busy lapana. Busy pedestrians, taxis, buses. It's a busiest road. It's one of the busiest road. After the road in Soweto, the road that is at Maponya in Orlando West. But there's an empty billboard. Not even a small, medium enterprise can take advantage of those billboards. What does it tell us? It's tough. There are people who cannot even afford to come back, to come together to say, guys, we're selling one product. This is one product. Let's approach this person that is selling this product to say, this product is available, and then they put our numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They can't. So, we need to ask ourselves, Uguti, if the country is in so much crisis and we are not taking advantage of such spaces to advertise and everything, it's okay. But why are we so relaxed as entrepreneurs while we can see, Uguti, we are going downwards? How many companies do you know that are retrenching as we speak? Let me tell you, Mena, I had 4 clients. 4 clients. 4. Their companies are retrenching. I'm speaking about this week. The week I'm in, I'm not talking about who's going to come and everything. I'm talking about those that came. I'm not talking about those I was talking to on WhatsApp. I'm talking about those who came to me to say, Gogo, the company is retrenching. I don't sleep the way I was supposed to sleep. You know, I was involved in an accident. After an accident, I was extremely sick. I was supposed to be sleeping at least 8 hours a day. I can't. Because unabantu that I need to assist them, uphahla, ancestral prayers. There are people that needs my help to say, Gogo, I can't do it alone anymore. Please assist me. I need to chat with those people at 12 midnight to say, okay, let's get in now. Just send a small message. Let's start. Then we get in. I remember there was a time about 2 weeks ago, for 5 days, I was accompanying someone into ancestral prayer, just to give them the moral and spiritual support, because They have tried. Koko, I've been looking for a job. I've lost count of how many interviews I've attended this year alone. None of them called me back. Most of them, they don't even send an email to tell me that your interview was not successful, or we've decided this, or whatever. Koko, I can't do it anymore. Koko, I'm a man. You'll know, Koko, as a man, if you don't bring an income. If you don't have an income as a man, what happens into that family? That's a video for another time. But I'm just talking ukuthi kunzima. It's hard. Yet we are relaxing. Yet we are not making our initiatives. What can I do? The technology is coming on a fast. Lalela, the technology is traveling on a fast lane. The same technology that some of us we enjoy, it's taking how many jobs? Koko, I used to operate this machine. I've invested my time and my knowledge in researching and everything to master this. I have a person that paid for their trip to China, where a specific machine was being bought, manufactured. They went to China just to further their skills. When they they made an appointment to say, I'm working for an ABC company. I would like to come to your manufacturing to see how you put together this machine so that I can master it in fixing it, because we find it hard for this machine to work at least 2 weeks in a month. It's 2 weeks is broken. They have to wait for about a week or a month for somebody to come, for a technician to come. Guess what? The technician paid him the money that he spent. Accommodation, everything. They said, we've never seen this. Here's your money. We will teach you. Huh? Guess what? 3 years down the line, there was something even more easier to use. All the knowledge he went to get, he can't use it. He's still in the company because how he took initiative of mastering this machine. Then he's still in the company. But anybody else who was part and parcel, who was in a chain of this machine, the machine can do many things that they don't need their hands, retrenched. How many people do you know who are sitting at home, early retirement or early pension, if you may call it that way? Retrenched, fired. How many people whereby their cases are being cooked just for the company to get rid of them? Companies now are cooking cases. I'll tell you, man and Manj. Companies are cooking cases. There are many people who are in CCMA. Get somebody, go to your nearest CCMA and ask how many people are coming here to say, this company doesn't have any merits on this. I deal with people whom they were told to stay home with no charges. I've been home since last year, September. No charges. I'm getting paid every month. Don't be happy about that. I'm glad that that person came to me. Don't be happy about that. No, as long as they give me my salary. No. One day you'll be receiving the last salary. Maybe this year. Maybe you won't reach another September. Still getting paid. Kunzima. But here's the question. Or here's the challenge, the challenging question that I want to put into us. How many of us are still, or they see it necessary to go on their knees and pray? How many of us that they are able to stand up and to visit their healer to say, before it comes to me, I'm here to protect my bread. How many of us are willing to do what it takes to protect our bread? How many of us? How many of us? Today you're working. It's towards the 25th. It's towards the month end. It's towards the 15th of next month. It's towards the 4th night. Today is Friday. There are people who are getting paid per week. That salary can be your last salary. There are people that their invoices are being paid today. That could be your last invoice. Yet we are sitting down and we're fine. No, what happened was meant to happen. If you have that mentality, what happened was meant to happen, what will happen tomorrow it was meant to happen, then you fold your arms. Then you are in trouble. You are in big trouble. Mina, true Scott, true pop. I will never relax with subscribing to the mentality that what will happen was meant to happen. Because I don't know if there's any other life that I'm going to have. I don't know if there's a spare life now that I have that I will use in case I lose this life. So it's up to us. We need to decide. It's a decision that we need to make. It's a simple decision. Am I going to fold my arms while things are going from worse to bad? While things are getting worse and worse and worse and worse, am I going to fold my arms and say, let it happen? And you are saying what will happen was meant to happen. So are you willing to lose that car? Are you willing to lose that job? Are you willing to close down on those businesses? Are you willing to lose that house, that shelter that you have? Are you willing to be kicked out and go and stay on the street and say what happened, it was meant to happen? Have you ever asked a person that is on the street, are they accepting they are homeless today, and will they say to you, no, it was meant to happen, then I'm fine? Okay. It was meant to happen. Then it's okay. Kushap. I thought it was meant to happen. Kunjan, no, I'm good. Why are you here? Upagati, the gentleman, the very warm-hearted gentleman that goes across the streets of South Africa and helping people who are in need. You know, give them something. Especially, I like it when he does that to people that, you know, are really striving to make a living, selling something and everything. When, you know, the facial expression of those people when they receive that money, another 100 rand, another 200 rand, another what, and everything. You know, money changes even the tone, even the smoothness of your skin. Money changes people. Have you ever heard women saying, you will never meet an ugly man who has money? Women will tell you that. And it's true. I've seen that with Mr. Phakathi videos on social media. However, none of the videos I've ever looked at whereby a person says, no, don't worry about the money, I'm suffering, and then it was meant to happen. No, they show gratitude. By a bong. They appreciate, pardon me, they appreciate the little that they're getting at that moment, because that might be their last money ever received. Others, the last time they've received that money, it was when they're working donkey years ago. None of the people you hear saying, I'm struggling and I'm okay. I've lost everything I had and I'm okay with that. God knows. Don't be, I'll use this word, you'll forgive me. Don't be a stupid Christian who'll say, it happened, it's by the, if God wanted me to suffer, it's fine, I'll suffer my whole life. Then why are you praying? What are you praying for? Are you praying for you to suffer more? No, it's a question, Bazalan. Asilwe. It's a question. If you are saying, if God made me to suffer my whole life, it's okay, then why are you praying? Why are you praising the same God that made you to suffer? If ever you are saying that, if we intando kaNkulunkulu, if you intando kaMvelinqangi, kulungile baba. Uma kuyintando yakho baba ukuthi ngihlupheke kulungile. No. I think we are misinterpreting the Bible. What I know, or from doing my researches even on the Bible teaches us to say, let it go of the past and focus in the future. You don't have a control of what happened in the past, but you do have a control of what you like to see happening in the future by learning from your mistakes. By moving forward, forgive. Many chapters in the Bible, it talks for forgiveness. Why the Bible is guiding us for forgiveness? It's because the Bible, it was designed to mold people to move forward. I don't care what Matthew or Jacob or Samsoni or Abase Showe, Vesum Lalazi. No, I don't care about that. My concern is, or my thinking, when I analyze my opinion about the Bible, it doesn't tell us, there's no script in the Bible that says to us, we must fold our arms. We must not do what it takes to achieve. Then why are we praying? It's up to us. Are you going to pray? Are you going to visit your healer? Are you going to go out and consult and get help? Are you going to protect what you have? Or are you going to fold your arms because of it was meant to happen? It's up to you. I'm not going to take decisions for you. Have you ever received an email that your child is owing at school? Have you ever felt, Uguti, I cannot fail my child? Yes, things are tough. I don't have money, but I cannot fail my children. Why are you not going to school and tell the principal to say, if it was meant to happen for my child to be chased out of the school because they didn't pay the fees, I don't have money and God knows. Can you do that? Hi, yes, speaking. Yes. No, you can come and take the car. Yeah, God knows, man. This was meant to happen. Come and take it. When are you coming, by the way? Or can I bring it to you tomorrow morning? Hey, Chineke, who have ever done that? Hi. Oh, the house is going on auction tomorrow. Okay. No, it's fine. What time? Oh, why I'm asking? No. I want to call the congregation so that we do a prayer, just to say, what was meant to happen. Now it's happening. Now God is taking the house. It was meant to happen. That's why I took money for and drank my money. That's why I took my money and went to a casino and gambled with it, because I knew that it was what the God has designed. So He can come and take it. Yes, I've done a lot of renovations. Oh, there was no wall. I've built a wall. I've put in the tiles and what. Who have ever done that in Ganza? No, we need to be smart Christians now, guys. We need to be smart human beings. We can't operate that way. No, we can't. Let's stand up. Let's fight for ourselves. We have children that we brought to this life. They've never asked us. Our parents we've never asked our parents to bring us. We have never asked our children to be born. What are we doing about it? We can't fold our arms while things are going down, 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 down. Let's go back to school. If you see that you are going to lose that job because you don't have enough skills, go back to school. Learn something. Take short courses and everything. If you need to spade and you need to steam for the whole 6 months, do that. Whatever. If you need to fast, go to church cells or whatever. Let's do what it takes for us. So that when we die peacefully. We know ukuthi yes, Zamile. Guys, I don't want to lie. When I die, there's a little that the regrets that I'm going to have, because I'm striving. If ever I need to travel to India so that I can cure whatever that a person needs or can help a person, because that person is going to give me money. And listen, I'm going to travel. As I'm traveling very soon to India, I'm going to travel. I'm going to do what it takes for me to have money. I'm not going to rob a person. I'm not going to scam anyone. If it means the person comes, I know I have this inner voice, man. If a person comes and says, Coco, I have this challenge. If I can't help you, I'll tell you on that one. No, I'll refer you to somebody. If I don't refer you, I'm going to make you my assignment. And I'm going to get it right at the end of the day. I'm going to strive. Because ancestors, they said, this is how you're going to live. By helping people, by curing people, by assisting people to get jobs, by assisting people for protection, by assisting people in their businesses. Then that's how you're going to get your income. If ever maybe other traditional healers are afraid to say we need that man, Mina, I do. But for me to get it, I need to do what it takes. You need to be happy. We both need to be happy. Kamina gawena. Salwa sendo to kokubathini mbathu malume. Till next time. Thank you.